Hi friends, this is Dr. Shivnagreddy and we are going to see applied physics for first mid exams. As in the series part 2, we are going to see lab viva model questions which will carry 10 marks weightage. So here I am presenting few model questions generally asked in the lab exams. For the first mid internal exams, we have four experiments: Newton rings, single slit diffraction, energy gap. When come to the fourth experiment, few batches did photoelectric effect and the other batches did a PN junction diode and a Zenor diode. So here we are going to see the five experiments model viva questions. You will be given any one of the experiment randomly. So you have to do the experiment. So we will start one by one. Here we are not going to discuss about the procedures and how we will do the experiments. What is Newton ring? A simple is when a plano convex surface is placed on a glass plate. So air film of gradually increasing thickness is formed between the two. When the monochromatic light is allowed to fall normally on the film and viewed in reflected light, alternative dark and bright rings are observed. These are Newton rings. These are the Newton rings we can observe in the lab. Why they are circular? That is another important question. So these rings are foci of constant thickness of air film. Since the foci are concentric circle, hence fringes are circular. Then what happens when order of rings increases? So whenever we are going to from center to away from the center, that is order of the ring is going on increasing. So whenever it is go on increasing, the radii of dark rings are proportional to the square root of natural numbers, while those of bright rings are proportional to square root of odd natural numbers. Why is central ring dark? So at the point of the contact, whenever we are drawing this plano convex lens, at the point of the contact, here at the point of the contact, two interfering rays are opposite in phase and produce zero intensity. So one ray will come straight this side and another will go on the same line. Central ring will be the dark. What is needed for an extended source? So to view the whole air film, an extended source is required. So apart from extended source, we have a point source, spherical sources. So what we will do is, whenever we have a point source or spherical source, we will use the lens in order to get the extended source. In order to observe the Newton rings, we will use microscope. So generally they will ask what is microscope. So basically microscope is an optical instrument. It is used to see the magnifying images of tiny objects. So what is the order it will produce and what it contains? It will produce a magnifying images. Then it consists of two convex lens. One is objective lens, which is near to the object, and eye lens, which is near to our eye. Small aperture and large focal length and large aperture. Now, what is the function of 45 degrees inclined glass plate? So if we observe the Newton ring experiment, there will be a glass plate we will use here whenever the light rays are coming from this side. So here we have the lens we are keeping. Once this fall on the 45 degrees, it will come to here. It turns the light rays coming from extended source to 90 degrees. So this is the source. From this side it is coming, and once they interact on it, it will be reflected 90 degrees, so that it will do the job if we keep 45 degrees. What if the glass plate is replaced with a plane mirror? Instead of keeping a glass plate, if we get mirror here, so it will not get interference fringes, because the intensity of light reflected from the mirror will be so great that it won't be visible and will get uniform illumination. So glass plate is required, we cannot use mirror. What if sodium light is replaced with white light? So whenever we are doing the Newton rings, we will use the sodium monochromatic source. So whenever we are using monochromatic source, we will get the fringes like this: yellow color, bright and dark, light yellow background. But if we use the white light, which consists of a all colors. So what happens is we will get the color rings. Then what will happen if few drops of liquid is introduced between the lens and the glass? So by introduction of the water, the refractive index of this medium will change. It will increase. So that rings will get decrease. What will happen if we use a lens of small radius of curvature? So generally whenever we are using the lens in the Newton rings experiment, the radius of curvature is very high. We use the small diameter, then there is a chance of error while taking the readings. Then we have a single slit experiment. By using helium neon laser, we used this single slit experiment and we got the diffraction pattern. So first question will be, what is the difference between laser source and filament lamp? Filament lamp means normal light. So basically laser light is highly monochromatic. Monochromatic means single color, highly coherent, non-divergent and intense. Intensity is a very high. If a laser beam is focused by a lens or a mirror, its energy is concentrated on a very small area. But filament lamp cannot be concentrated to such a small area. What is the diffraction of a light? So what is diffraction? Simply we can say the bending of the light rays at a sharp edges or the corners is known as a diffraction. Then what is the difference between interference and diffraction? So when come to the interference of a light, it takes place due to superposition of two waves. It's not a waves, it's a two waves coming from two different coherent sources. While diffraction is due to the mutual interference of secondary wavelets originating from the various points of the wavefront that are not blocked off by the upstream. Then what is a laser? L-A-S-E-R. L stands for light, A stands for amplification, by S stands for stimulated, E stands for emission of radiation. So laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. What is helium neon laser? So whatever we used in this experiment, single slit experiment, that is nothing but a helium neon laser. Helium neon laser emits a red line of wavelength 635 nanometers. So what is the effect of intensity when a single slit is replaced by double slit? So single slit means only one small aperture will be there. If we use double slit, we can use two apertures. This is a single slit, this is a double slit. So what happens is whenever we replace a double slit, then intensity will be 4 times. Why is a diffraction not observed for light passing through a window in a room? Minima and secondary maxima will come very close to each other and merge. That is why diffraction is not observed for light passing through the window in a room. Then what is a stimulated emission? So the process in which electrons is triggered to undergo transition by the presence of photons of energy 2 minus E1, the difference of the energies between the two transition levels. What is the effect of increasing the wavelength on single slit Fraunhofer diffraction pattern? So if we increase the nth order minimum angle increases, as a result spectrum becomes wider. So whenever we increase the wavelength, spectrum becomes wider. Then what is laser action? To produce a laser action, one has to create a population inversion using optical pumping. That's what we call laser action. Another experiment, energy gap of semiconductor. So what are semiconductors? So basically semiconductors are the materials which have their conductivity between conductors and insulators. Then these will be classified into two types, intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. Whereas intrinsic semiconductors are pure ones and extrinsic semiconductors are impure. So then what do you mean by energy bands? Required to know what is energy band. When a large number of atoms are together, as in a crystal, the energy levels spread into a band. Such bands are called energy bands. Then what is a diode? So diode consisting of two electrodes, one is cathode, another one is anode. The cathode emits electrons and the anode will attract the emitted electrons when it is supplied by a positive potential. Then what is a valency band? What is a conduction band? These definitions are very regular ones and we are supposed to. Then how many types of solid materials are there? What are those materials? So based on the energy gap, we will classify the materials into three types: conductors, insulators, and semiconductor. Then what is conductor, what is insulator, and what is semiconductor already we know. Then there will be, as we told previously, there is a two types of semiconductors: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic are pure semiconductors and extrinsic are impure. In extrinsic semiconductors, we have p-type and n-type. Then we have energy level, that's a Fermi energy level. So what is Fermi energy level? The average energy of charge carriers is calculated by Fermi energy level. Then where it will lies? So in a pure semiconductors, it will be at the center. This is for pure semiconductors. Whereas p-type semiconductors, Fermi level is near to the valency band. So if it is a p-type, then it will shift downward. If it is a n-type, it will shift up. Then generally, for a pure semiconductor, order of the energy gap will be 1 electron volt. So these are the some other questions you can try yourself, you can get it. Then we have the PN junction diode and Zenor diode. So what is a junction diode? A junction diode is formed when a p-type semiconductor is in intimate contact with the n-type semiconductor. Then what is forward bias, what is reverse bias? So whenever positive terminal of the power source is connected to the positive terminal of the diode, that's what we call forward bias. If we reverse it, that's what we call reverse bias. What is knee voltage? So in a forward bias PN junction, the voltage at which there is a sudden increase. Say for example, on a x-axis we will take a voltage, on a y-axis we will take a current, the IV characteristic. Knee voltage will be generally, it will slowly changes and after that it suddenly increases. So this is the place where at a particular voltage a sudden increase is there. That's what we call knee volt. What do you mean by reverse breakdown? So for certain values of reverse potential applied to a PN junction, there is a sudden sharp increase in current. It's also on the same line. It will suddenly increases current. So this is what we call reverse breakdown voltage. Then what is a Zenor diode? So it is a specially designed diode, basically operated in reverse breakdown region. So these p-type n-type regions are heavily doped and separated by a very narrow neutral. That's nothing but a potential barrier. So what causes a reverse breakdown, especially in case of Zenor diode? It is due to the breakage of the covalent bond due to very high intensity of electric field. If we apply more and more electric field, there will be a breakdown. Then what is Zenor voltage? The reverse breakdown voltage of Zenor diode is called Zenor voltage. Then what is generally Zenor diode is used? Zenor diode is used for voltage regulators. Then how does the bias affect the thickness of depletion layer? Generally in forward bias, thickness of the depletion layer decreases. In a reverse bias, the thickness of the depletion layer increases. Then how does the bias affect the junction resistance? It's a base, typically both are related. Whenever there is a thickness of depletion layer decreases, resistance decreases. If thickness of the depletion layer increases, resistance increases. For the making of n-type, p-type from the pure semiconductors, we require a dopant elements. So these are the pentavalent dopants. If we take a pure semiconductor, germanium, silicon like that, and if we dope with any one of the element, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, then we will get the n-type semiconductors. And if we dope with the trivalent impurities, we will get p-type semiconductors like boron, aluminum, gallium, indium and thallium. So if we combine P and N, we can get PN junction diode. Final one is a photoelectric effect. So what is a photoelectric effect? So it's a phenomena when electrons are ejected from the surface of a metal when light is incident on it, and the releasing electrons are called photoelectrons. Who discovered this photoelectric effect? Heinrich Hertz in 1887. After 1900, in 1905, Albert Einstein is able to explain a photoelectric effect clearly based on a quantum theory. So which popular device is based on photoelectric effect? Photoelectric cell or photodiode. What is the principle of photoelectric effect? So the law of conservation of energy forms the basis of photoelectric effect. What is this law of conservation of energy here? Whenever the incident energy, that energy will be distributed as a work function plus kinetic energy of the electron. So there won't be any loss of the energy. Whatever the energy come in, it will be utilized completely. Then what is the conditions for photoelectric effect? So there is a basic conditions for the emission of the electrons from a metal. At least we have to provide the minimum energy to remove the electron from its metal surface, which is nothing but the work function. Then what is the importance of this photoelectric effect? This photoelectric effect provides the support for the quantum theory. It supports the particle nature. There is a different applications out there based on solar panels, crystal caps, school is there. That's all for this part, and I hope you can learn many things from theory classes as well. That's all for today. See you in the next session.